Shabbat Shalom. I just want to welcome everyone to the Sabbath Day conference call. And this is Barbara serving as your host today. And Brother P is here as your co-host.
I'm glad to have you all along. It's great to have this material ahead of us to look at.
So the topic today is a question. Can you find the lunar Sabbaths on a Gregorian calendar? And are they the 8th, 15th, 22nd, and 29th on a Roman Gregorian calendar? Well, this is a common question newcomers ask. In fact, my really good friend Cindy, she said, you need to address this because, well, a lot of newcomers may ask, do I look for the Sabbath dates, 8, 15, 22, 29, to line up on a Gregorian calendar? And so my friend Cindy was looking at the Gregorian calendar, and she was keeping the Sabbaths on these dates on a Gregorian calendar where it lines up, 8, 15, 22, 29. And each month has those dates lined up like that. This is not true. The answer is no. The 8th, 15th, 22nd are not the dates that we are looking for on a Gregorian calendar.
The Gregorian calendar is day-specific. Saturday Sabbaths are day-specific rather than date-specific, because the dates on which they fall are always changing. This alone shows that Saturday Sabbaths to be unbiblical. The biblical weekly Sabbaths are always date-specific. They are on the 8th, the 15th, the 22nd, and the 29th, specifically on the lunar-based calendar.
Yeah, and you can see I just put 3 months up here. All the different dates you would see for Saturday Sabbath, the 6th, the 3rd, the 2nd, all up and down. It changes all the time, doesn't it?
That's for a Gregorian calendar, yes.
And this is on a Gregorian calendar only, not the Father's calendar. Thank you.
The Hebrew calendar numbered both the days of the week and the days of the month. Instead of having a name for the weekdays, as we do today, which is like Monday and Twice Day, that's the God Twice Day, and Wednesday, etc. Israel always numbered the days of the week except for the Sabbaths. The days of the work week are 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. The days of the month were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way through 29 or 30. The lunar Sabbath does not conflict in the numbering because the Sabbath would always fall on day 8, 15, 22nd, or 29.
Okay, and so I kind of underlined the days of the week here. There's day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and day 5, and day 6. And the 7th day is always the Sabbath. The 7th day dates are 8, 15, 22, 29.
To be clear, those are not Monday, Tuesday. Day 1 is not Monday.
Right, exactly. So the lunar month, the lunar Sabbaths are fixed and never change the dates. Lunar Sabbaths are date-specific and always fall on the 8th, 15th, 22nd, and 29th. The Sabbath dates are not found on a Roman Gregorian calendar. They are displayed in the heavens, and this is the calendar of creation.
The Creator's Sabbaths are fixed dates, and this can be demonstrated beyond a reasonable doubt by numerous scriptures for those willing to be Bereans and search the scriptures. That's Acts 17:11. Every date identifiable weekly Sabbath in Scripture always falls on the 8th, the 15th, the 22nd, and the 29th without exception. There are over 20 passages that in context identify the weekly Sabbath on that 8th, 15th, 22nd, and 29th of the month. If a text proves that the Sabbath is on the 15th day of the month, it proves by default that the 8th, the 22nd, and 29th days of the month were also weekly Sabbaths. Yahweh said that only 2 or 3 witnesses were required to establish a truth.
Yeah, and we have this whole complete article on our website. The Sabbaths are always on those dates, and I'll leave the link below, or you can look for it on our website, lunarsabbathday.com, on the articles page. Okay, are there floating Sabbaths on a lunar calendar? Let's consider the question of floating lunar Sabbaths, which are often misunderstood. The lunar Sabbaths fall on a Gregorian Tuesday this month. We're in April 2024, and the dates are April 16, 23, 30, and will be in May 7. But on the Father's calendar, our Sabbaths are always the 8th, the 15th, and the 22nd. This is just plastered on top of a Gregorian calendar. And then you will see over here that the 8th is the first quarter phase, then the 15th, the full moon phase, the 22nd, the last quarter phase. And so we're going to explain this a little better as we go along. The lunar Sabbaths artificially floats, ending up on different days each month, but it only does so when the unscriptural solar-only Gregorian calendar is laid down first. And so I have a Gregorian January 2024 calendar here, and I circled the dates that are on that our Father's calendar has. And I circled them on a Gregorian calendar because we do live on a Gregorian calendar in our world. So you'll see the 22nd, the 29th there. You see New Moon Day. You see day 8 and day 15. And here you see them over here as they are on the Father's calendar lining up with the moon phases. So I just want to show you what it looks like when it's plastered on top of a Gregorian calendar. And that's for January. This is February 2024. So there is the 22nd day and the 29th day. And then we had a new moon day. And then the Sabbaths always line up on the same date as New Moon Day. And so the second Sabbath is the 8th and the 15th. This is when it's plastered on a Gregorian calendar. This is what it looks like. And so here's March 2024, and we'll continue that we had to be on a Gregorian calendar as Saturday. So there are the last 2 Sabbaths, the 22nd and 29th. Then we have New Moon Day, and then we have the Sabbaths again lined up right underneath, and that put us over at a Gregorian Sunday. But on the Father's calendar, it's always the same. There's no other names for it. It's always on the 7th day of his calendar. So I hope that this will help explain it a little bit. Now, this is the month we're in right now. We're in the month of April 2024. And so the last Sabbath of our month was the 29th, of course. Here it is over here on the left. And then our new moon day was April 9. And that lined up all our Sabbaths on Gregorian Tuesday. And here are the Sabbaths, the 8th, the 15th, and the 22nd. Brother Pete, did you have any comments for us about this calendar with our lunar calendar plastered on top of a Gregorian calendar?
Well, all I will say, well, there was one point, is this is much like a person who stands on a man-made ship, just like the Gregorian calendar or the calendars we see day to day are man-made. They're started, they're initiated, the dates are put on them arbitrarily by man. Or like a man standing on a man-made ship and looking at the chairs on the ship and thinking they are not moving. They are moving because the ship is moving. It's rolling with the sea. But the Gregorian calendar is fixed to something that exceeds man. Man did not move the moon. He cannot move the moon. And the moon's place and its setting of the calendar will be constant from Genesis on to the end of the aeon, or the end of the age. It's permanent. That is the lunar Sabbath. Yeah, excuse me.
Yeah, and our fixed calendar is in the heavens, and that's why I have this over on the left to try to help explain to everyone, those Sabbath dates are according to the moon phases. They're not on this floating Gregorian calendar.
Yeah, one thing we can say about the lunar calendar, Yahweh's calendar, it's kind of boring because it's the same every month. But it is consistent. It's regularly consistent. And anyone doesn't need a printed calendar to come from somewhere. They just look up and they know where they are in time.
If we're stranded on an island, or if we're off in a cave somewhere and we have no phone, no calendar, we can look up and see what day it is by the Father's calendar.
And sync up with the Father on His day of rest. It's not our day, it's His day.
Right, exactly. It's His days, and He assigned those days for us, and He put that calendar for us to see them.
Amen.
So now, however, we found out our Sabbath dates are plastered on a Gregorian calendar, but however, when the true foundational lunar solar calendar is laid down first, with the solar-only calendar resting on top, we discover that the so-called Saturday Sabbaths are the ones that really float. So here we are on the Father's calendar. You see the moon phases. You see the Sabbaths are always on the quarter phases there. And then you'll see the month of January there plastered in the middle of the Father's week. And this is when the Saturday Gregorian calendar would have been having their Sabbaths. Here we are for the month of February. This would be the Gregorian Sabbath. Now it's over there on day 3 of our calendar. Here is the Gregorian March Saturday Sabbath. It's over there on the 2nd day of our Father's calendar. So it's really the Gregorian calendar that's jumping around and floating all over when it's plastered on the Father's calendar. Here's April, the month that we're in right now. On Gregorian Saturdays, they would be plastered there on day 6 of our month. And so it's really the Gregorian calendar that floats just like that. So the Sabbaths of the Bible are displayed in the heavens.
And Elohim said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, for seasons," that is, for worship times, "and for days and years," Genesis 1:14. Only the lunar solar calendar of Genesis chapter 1, let them, that is, plural sun and moon, be for signs and seasons, that is, appointed times, Genesis 1:14 through 16, is the foundational calendar by which the seventh-day Sabbaths are determined. The unscriptural foundation of the solar-only Gregorian calendar is faulty at its core and must be rejected for determining the seventh-day Sabbaths.
as it says in Psalms 89:37, it will be established forever, like the moon, the faithful witness in the sky. So I invite you to access more information about when the Sabbaths are and when all the appointed times are on the Father's calendar. Please go to our website, lunarsabbathday.com. And thank you for being here, and please like if this is a blessing to you, and share it with your friends that love Yeshua. Share it with your friends that are still in the churches or in the Messianic groups. We want to let everyone know that there is a true calendar up there in the heaven, and it doesn't float. It's always the same, because he says in Malachi 4 that he does not change. Our Creator does not change. So thank you very much for being here, and blessings.